for men who refuse to stay complacent. Welcome to the Upgraded Man podcast with your host, Chris Anderson.
Welcome back to another recording of the Upgraded Man podcast. Chris Anderson here, your host. I'm going to be diving into how to overcome some limiting beliefs today. And I might be getting in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, I guess, while our guest drives me down that path of overcoming some of my own. So we'll see how that goes. A little bit nervous, but I think it'll be good to kind of open up and show how it goes. But Joel Bein is on the show today. He is an expert on just that, getting people through limiting beliefs and being able to succeed, grow more in their lives. So Joel, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to have you here and kind of dive into this. Before we get into, that kind of walkthrough of myself and seeing if there's limiting beliefs there to break through, which I no doubt probably have. I'd love to hear, kind of dive into your story. Like, what got you into working with people and their limiting beliefs? Like, how did that even come about? Because I feel like not many people wake up and say, I'm gonna, limiting beliefs. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna help people with today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a sexy thing, really, like on paper. But what is valuable is getting down to the root, and actually healing and integrating and liberating ourselves fully, rather than just hacking at the branches, right? So I've just been insatiably curious about everything for the last 20 years as I became an adult and started asking the big questions about who am I? How does the world work? Where did I come from? What was my childhood like? What's my purpose in life? What's my authentic self? All these bigger questions, because I'm just a very deep person. And it's really curiosity that I believe can heal humanity. Curiosity is what is the kindling for our own aliveness, our own wholeness, our own expression, and self-understanding, but also the solutions that actually can liberate us from our own conditioning. And so I've just been insatiably curious about personal growth since I was about 19. And I've done a lot of different modalities, from just like noticing my dreams to doing deeper internal family systems therapy to doing just deep journaling and long walks and breath work and psychedelics. And this particular approach has been the most fruitful, that actually can let go of the beliefs that are causing the suffering that we experience, whether that's like our own fear of self-expression or our own confidence or anxiety about money or our own doubt that we can build something, right? Or our insecurities in our relationships, or any like thought or emotion that's not desirable is just traced back to a belief. And we can get into that, but happy to share more about my story, because really that starts when I'm growing up and I'm going through my own traumas. I'm going through the adversity there. That's really where the story starts, but that's kind of the overview.
Because like, that's like a deep introspective positioning to come from. Not many people, especially, guys, have that thought of like the curiosity of like, why am I this way? What am I doing? What did I go through? What did something spark those questions in you? I know you said you've been curious, and a deeper person, but was there something that like triggered, like, I really need to figure out what's going on in my life right now?
Well, I think it's activated by a desire to a more global desire to help all humans. I think that's like in my disposition. Like, I don't know if you know Myers-Briggs personality.
Yeah.
So I'm an INFJ, which is only 0.5% of men. It's the least common personality, but it's introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. But the traits of INFJ are often that depth, authenticity, but also like a visionary and wanting to change the world. And so like wanting to change the world has kind of fired me up sometime in my late teens. But that it started realizing that the best way to change the world is to change yourself. That was I figured that out way before Jordan Peterson was a thing. It was like, what's in your sphere of control? And also but the question I was asking is, why is the world have so many, how come the world is, and the society is so filled with suffering or
Right.
not thriving, and you can
Yeah.
look at that from 100 different angles. But I got curious about, well, how are children raised?
Mm.
How are children treated? Because that's
Yeah.
everything goes back to the roots, right? If you want
True.
to, if you suck at hitting a tennis ball, maybe you need to look at the fundamentals of how you're holding the tennis racket, right? Everyone knows this about fundamentals. And so I'm like, what's the fundamentals of society? Oh, it's how we were raised. Duh. Like that's the first 20 years.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of silly in one sense, but it's also extremely deep and almost like taboo because people aren't always wanting to look at that truth, because that's when
Right.
our pain is surfaced of our own childhood. So like, how did our parents treat us? How do we experience our school experience, right? Those psychological dynamics. I got really curious about that, and I
Yeah.
started getting deep into parenting philosophy and education.
So what are some things that you saw that shaped who you are today from your past when you're digging into this?
Yeah. I've just built up, I think I've just built up a lot of protective mechanisms growing up. It's funny because I was thinking about this podcast and talking directly to men, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friends last night and I had this thought, like men need more empathy. And it's almost like you're not even supposed to say that sometimes, men are supposed to just figure it out. You're just supposed to
Yeah.
have it set. And so a lot of men suffer with not being emotionally available or emotionally open or feeling guarded about expressing feelings. That's like a pattern, a category that a lot of men might fall into
Right.
based on like a traditional, maybe stern, unhealthy masculine father figure growing up. For me, I was actually the opposite, where I had a very non-polarized dynamic between my parents, with my mom being a very sort of strong feminist type, and my dad was like not very assertive, and
Okay. Yeah.
she was screaming at him all the time. That's
Yep.
my biggest chronic trauma, was just being in the house and there's just always low level, medium level, or high level fighting going on. And especially being, I think, as an INFJ and like being super tuned in and being an empath, I think it affected me even more than my brothers potentially. But like, I was just like, it really affected me.
Yeah.
And my nervous system was just kind of on guard. And then I learned to put up that wall and those protective mechanisms in different areas of life, especially self-expression, self-authenticity. So the quest for me has really been, can I be my authentic self? But all throughout my childhood, I just felt like I was hiding, even through my 20s a lot. I felt like I was hiding my true self. And I was just trying to, still get connection and belonging from people, but not rocking the boat,
Yeah.
So like that, I learned to not have the self-assertiveness, but now I've done so much growth with that. So that's kind of a little spotlight of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, so we have this like same kind of situation growing up. My mom was kind of more the assertive one.
Yeah.
She'd be a little bit quick tempered. My dad was more laid back, even keeled. Kind of just took
Yeah.
the brunt. And now when I was younger, that's all I saw. As I got older, I realized, my mom was dealing with a lot of stuff that was how she projected it. And so my dad had to be that way because she hadn't healed through some of her stuff. So he was just trying to support her the best he could, with her past things she's dealt with. So like learning some of that, and there's probably a lot more to it even then. And so I think if I'm going to look, cause I think I took the Myers-Briggs too. And if you guys haven't taken it, it's it's been a while. So I'd probably need to take it again. I want to see if I have my results in here anywhere. Probably not. I want to say I was the same as you, but E instead of an I, if I remember
you
it
seem
right.
like an E.
Yeah. So, and for the life of me, I can't remember what all this meant anyways. I haven't dug into it as deep as you, but I guess for context there, because I think it does start with asking these questions about ourselves, right? What has made us be who we are, for good and bad. Because my parents, obviously it's taught me a lot of great stuff, has made me into who I am today. And a lot of it's great. And in our environment and things like that have, put some of the limiting beliefs or whatever that we can talk about. So like, I think it's important that we do kind of dive into those questions and really sit with that and try to see, like, why are we the way we are? What led to those things? What can we let go of? What can we forgive? What can we move through and be the best version of ourselves? And, we all have limiting beliefs, whether you believe it or not. For those who don't know, what is, in your definition, a limiting belief?
It's basically just a neurological pathway that is inhibiting your own freedom. So when you let go of beliefs, it just means that you get to have discernment, and you don't have these subconscious programs that are taking up space. It's like you have a closet full of old t-shirts, and it's creating all this. It's filling up all the space. There's emotional weight, there's psychological weight, there's physical weight to it, because there's all these old t-shirts that don't fit or have holes in them, or they have sentimentality to them, and that you're not actually using them. So like the art of decluttering is going through that and letting go of one t-shirt at a time. And when you do that, you feel that newfound peace and freedom and serenity when your closet no longer has old baggage,
Yeah.
And so the limiting belief is limiting your own freedom and your own peace. And so the way that shows up is really where people connect, because it's the day-to-day experience that people are navigating, right? So clients come to me, they might be feeling a lot of emotional burden or anxiety around money, especially as a man.
Sure.
Because they are taking care of their family, or they have their own emotional experience with money from their own childhood. There's a lot of money stuff around that's tied to self-worth and safety and survival. And all this stuff is this big package that almost everyone gets, but some people get it stronger.
Sure.
And so, it's the rumination at 3 a.m. You can't sleep, it's the looking at your bank account and you're like, holy crap, how am I going to figure this out? That's the suffering people are experiencing. Or maybe it's the procrastination thing, where it's you want to create this project or this business, but then there's this voice that's just like, yeah, no one's gonna like it, or these types of thoughts that are holding you back. And so it's really just getting curious again, right? Okay, I have these emotional experience, I have the heart racing, or I have the anxiety, or I have this mental experience, or I have these harsh voices in my head. And the question is, what would you have to believe subconsciously for those experiences to be happening? Right? And that's when we actually get down to the root of it, and when you can clear the beliefs with this very powerful method that I have, then you actually can let go.
Yeah, because I think because this obviously something I've dug into a little bit, obviously not like to your extent, but how do you find when you're working with someone, because we probably have multiple limiting beliefs, right? There's probably multiple like blockages in our thinking and mindset that we have to overcome and get through. How do you find the one that's the most prevalent, or the one to start with?
Yeah, there's going to be dozens, hundreds, or thousands of beliefs. Because you can have beliefs that have similar concepts, but they're slight variations. Like you could I believed once upon a time, I believed I'm not worthy of love. Then we cleared that, and I thought I was good with that kind of concept. But then I also, 2 years later, I found a new belief, which was I'm worthless, which is almost the same thing. It's a worth thing, but it was different. And so there's still emotional charge with that particular belief. So yeah, there's usually these pockets and these different categories of self-worth, of money, relationships, of work and business success and failure, like these different concepts, right? And so it's like this big meadow of dandelions, and you want to just, instead of mowing the lawn, which is what a lot of, like, if you meditate, for example, you might mow the lawn and you feel better and the noise in your head gets quieter, but then the dandelions grow back because you didn't pull them up at the root, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these beliefs. You actually just want to pull them out at the root And the more you do, the more freedom you have, and those things don't come back, and you get more and more calm body, calm mind, freedom. And so how do I find those? It's again connecting to what's going on for you, you know? It's like, okay, I'm feeling this insecurity when I'm asking for the sale, the close on the sales call. I notice this tension come up in my throat. Okay, that's what's going on. And then it's kind of connecting to that somatic experience and trying to find out, you know, what's going on for that part of you. Like if that anxiety in your throat could speak, what would it say? You know? And then you start seeing that as a subconscious part of you that has its own lens on the world, and you invite it to speak, and it's like, yeah, I'm afraid that people will think I'm a bad person. Oh,
interesting.
Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, now we go deeper, and then eventually you keep going until you find an actual core belief, and you know, beliefs that would be causing that particular example would be something like rich people are selfish, or I'm not worthy of success, or sales is dishonest. You know, there could be all sorts of beliefs about money, sales, and self, success, failure, that would be all contributing to that symptom. But it's about the curiosity to keep asking the questions until you really hit something that's a core belief about self, identity, safety, love. You know, these are the things that you want to get down to.
Okay. So do you have to start with the main category, like whether it be wealth, business, relationships, self-love, or anything like that? You want to just dive into it with me, and if you're open to doing that, and we can see how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Both in your court. We'll see. Oh man, I don't know where this is gonna go. We'll see, guys. Should I have tissues? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And it's okay to cry if we need tissues, but
it's always okay to cry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful thing to do it on a podcast live for your audience. And yeah, I'll kind of walk you through it, and then we can debrief at the end about it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, is there a certain category of life that's present for you that you want to focus on?
Oh, that's a good question.
And you know, what's going on day to day with any sort of tension, any sort of pressure you put on yourself, anything you're worried about?
I would say probably the biggest one that I noticed recently is I put a lot of pressure on myself to get it all done. And I always feel like I'm coming up short. Because, you know, I got business, I got podcasts, I got family stuff, house projects. I coach soccer, so I help there too. Relationship, obviously, with my wife. Try to have relationship with friends. So, yeah, I feel like I just don't have enough time in the day. And so it irritates me that I can't get it done. And I probably stress a little bit more about that than anything right now. And then I get frustrated if I'm not getting the help I think I should get when it's on me anyways. So to get it done.
Yeah. And that's very common. There's so much with hustle culture, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
And pressure to do things, also desire to do things, a lot of things. But then that can, if we have conditioning around that, then it's going to be compulsive pressure. So you feel an irritation and kind of stretched thin around time. So yeah, tell me more about that. Like, where do you feel that? Imagine that, just really connect to that irritation in your body. Where do you feel it?
I think when I feel the irritation, it's kind of like almost like I would say it's more in my head kind of thing, like the feeling of it almost not necessarily spinning, but like just I see everything I need to do and get done, and what I need to do to grow the business, grow the podcast, improve family, all this stuff. I see it going around in there, and I just see the time going away. So I can't get it all done, kind of thing. And yeah, so I think if that makes sense.
Yeah, it gives us more information.
Yeah.
So what's the worry if you didn't get it all done? Is there any fear or worry about who you are, or what will happen if you don't get it all done?
Yeah, I think, you know, leaning on the business, I guess, business podcast side, just to being able to support my family better and set up, future things, be able to invest in things, help other people, with having the finances, just big goals around financial, and revenue and things like that. And to what that will open up, more freedom, more experiences for me and my kids, being able to invest in other charities and things like that. So that's kind of where it's like, I want to get there as fast as I can.
Yeah, so
And
those are what you really desire, and then those are all the intentions behind that. And then what's getting in the way is that there's like this negative emotional experience. And does it feel like if would you maybe, what would happen if you never got to experience all those things you just listed?
Probably feel like I wasn't living up to my potential
Yeah.
and, purpose for being, I guess. Kind of like I wasted opportunities, kind of.
Okay. Yeah, so these are some more general questions, and like there's so many different entry points in, because I'm sensing there's potentially just beliefs about who you are as a human. There's maybe beliefs about just doing tasks and working hard, right? And then there's probably beliefs about money at some level.
Sure.
And so for our purposes, we're just going to see if we can pull out one belief or so.
Okay.
So I think I'll just suggest some potential beliefs.
Okay.
And your job is just, once I suggest the belief, just tell me if it feels true.
All right.
So no need to analyze it, because we're just looking for the subconscious mind, not whether it's consciously true. This is, we know that these limiting beliefs aren't actually true, but there's a part of you that might believe it. And so if you do believe it, you'll feel it.
Gotcha.
If I say, all strawberries are yellow, you wouldn't be like having an emotional response to that. Right. But if I say a limiting belief that hits your subconscious, you're gonna be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
So we're just looking to see if you feel it.
Okay.
So does it feel true? I should be doing more.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that in your body?
In the chest.
Yeah. And just curious, like, how strong is that feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd probably say 3 or 4.
Okay. How about, let's try some other core beliefs. Does it feel true? I'm not doing enough.
Not really.
Okay. So let's see. Talked about money. Talked about living up to your potential. Did you say did you grow up in Indiana?
Yep.
Okay, so you had that Midwestern work ethic thing.
Right.
Was that instilled? Would you say that you got that message a lot growing up about working hard?
Oh yeah. The whole, especially in sports too. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously get good grades, straight A's in sports, give 120% always. Yeah. So for sure.
Does it feel true that the way to be successful is to work hard?
So this is a good one, because I battle with this, because I go back and forth. Yes, I think you have to work hard, but I also think you have to work smart too. So I feel like I go back and forth, because I have learned through some of this, but I still lean into I just need to work harder to get more done.
Yeah. And so what we're doing here is we want to access the part of you that believes it, right? So it sounds like you maybe know at one level that it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart or other factors. And if there's a part of you that just believes that concept, that's the thing that's going to be one of the root causes for your pressure.
Yeah.
right? So if you just like tune into the body when it comes to the way to be successful is to work hard. Do you feel it?
Yeah, I still feel it in the chest for sure.
Yeah. How's that? Is that stronger one? How
A
strong
little
is it?
bit. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say probably 5. 5, yeah.
Okay. So that's fairly strong. Could be worth clearing that one. Okay. What about? I'm just gonna just suggest this is probably the most common belief in the world.
Okay.
You just tell me if that feels true. I'm not good enough.
I'd say that's That's probably a big one. I feel like the
Yeah.
chest, even like a little bit even in the head too with it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's poignant. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw it or your listeners saw the movie Inside Out 2.
I think we've
Disney
seen it. Yeah.
Disney Pixar. Well, there's two of them. The second one. Well, first of all, the movie's just about like this young girl and she's navigating these challenges of life, but they depict these characters in her own head.
Mm-hmm.
They're different emotions, right?
Yep.
It's a really accurate portrayal of how our psyche works with our different conflicting parts, different
Right.
feelings and thoughts. But the second one, they actually show her going through an adverse experience where she's trying to fit in ninth grade and make the hockey team and be accepted.
That's right. Yep.
Dealing with all these pressures. And she's trying to make the team and prove herself, and she just gets overwhelmed. And then, boom, they actually show creates the belief, I'm not good enough. And I've seen this belief hundreds of times and cleared it for people hundreds of times. And but in the movie theater, I remember I just felt it that so many people could feel the poignancy of that moment, because I think it's the most common belief on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And it's so fundamental, man, because it affects every area of life, right? You're trying to prove yourself in business, you're trying to prove yourself in your family. It's like, if you just always have this program in your subconscious that just believes I'm not good enough, then it's just a perpetual, treadmill. So I think we clear that one. That'd be a big one to clear for you if you're open to it.
Yeah, I'm open.
All right. So you said you felt that in the chest. So just take note of that, and then we'll check on that at the end of the process.
Okay.
So again, for everyone listening, the value proposition here is I'm going to liberate Chris from this belief in about 10 to 20 minutes.
All right.
And it's never going to come back ever. And we can talk about how maybe at the end.
Yeah.
But that's the value proposition here.
All right.
So, just trusting your subconscious mind. When in your life did you first conclude this? I'm not good enough belief.
I mean, I think as a kid, getting, maybe the grade wasn't as high, so you remember the criticism over the support sometimes. And I think I still remember when I was a kid getting made fun of for, big ears or whatever it was. And I think that's just a big thing, is remembering the criticism over the positive more, I guess, getting a lot of that more.
Think that, so you think it was what's coming up in your memories right now is more about school or parents, or
dealing with parents in school, and not that they were like super nasty or anything. It was just, oh, why didn't you get an A, or or you do better next time, or stuff like that. Nothing like, oh, you're stupid or blah blah blah. So
sometimes these memories can be just relatively mild, but we can really impact us.
Because I remember playing soccer, like being super hard on myself, like if I missed a shot or things like that, just on myself. Probably build in from some of that. So
so you were wanting to succeed with soccer, you wanting to be accepted socially, and you're getting expectations from your parents with the grades. So there are these different factors with it, and somewhere in all that, you concluded I'm not good enough, which makes complete sense when you're a child and you're navigating all that. So, yeah, is it possible that it's not the absolute truth I'm not good enough as a person, but that maybe there's just some skills in some situations, some domains of life that you're not yet good enough at? Like, I'm guessing you're not a trained pilot.
Right. Yeah,
So
true.
maybe it is the truth that you're not good enough at flying airplanes for me to be willing to sign up to fly with you.
Right.
But maybe it's not the absolute truth about you as a human, as a person.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Is that possible?
Possible. Yeah. I do know I battle with like still even now, like figuring out like, because like the podcast is doing well, like better than most. And that's great. And I'm super blessed and thankful for that. But like, I look at it, I'm like, but I'm not Steve Bartlett. I'm not Chris Williams. I'm not Lewis Howes. Like, so like, I'm not super good at it because I'm not to that level. Or like business, like we're not a multi-million-dollar company. Or like, I don't know, like I could be a better parent. Like, so I feel like I'm always just average at everything, trying to be the best at something, I guess is what I'm.
Yeah.
So I always
You
have
know,
that thought process.
and
I'm
a
like,
big
what
part
am
of
I
that
actually
is
good at?
if you believe this as an absolute, that's
Right.
filtering every area of life, like we said.
True. Yeah.
So what I'm doing here is asking some new interpretations of your experience. See if we can just loosen this up,
Sure.
loosen the soil up before we maybe let go of that weed at the root. And so like you'd agree that, you know, maybe there are some things I'm not good enough is applicable to, like flying airplanes, but maybe it's not applicable for all things. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to these experiences growing up, is it possible that it's what explains those experiences is not that it's the truth about you as a human, I'm not good enough, but rather your parents were projecting their own beliefs, their own unprocessed experience from their own childhood when it comes to the pressure to get grades and do certain things at a certain standard, and maybe the way that they related with you was actually about them, and it wasn't about you at all, and and nothing to do with your good enoughness. It was just they were actually had their own standards that they were kind of defaulting to because they hadn't really processed their own experiences when they were kids, and they had similar expectations placed on them.
Right.
Is that possible?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And even in, you know, with the kids, you know, if they're making fun of you, other kids, you know, maybe that's because of their own self-esteem issues, or because the school environment wasn't really nurturing their own authenticity and their own unconditional love. And so they were just trying to find their own strategies to try to get their own need for belonging met and their own need for like a self-esteem met. But they didn't really know how to do that well. And it was just them. It wasn't actually the truth about you. I'm not good enough. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
So would you agree I'm not good enough is just one interpretation of your experiences?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. So now, when you look back to those experiences, think about what you saw with your eyes. So you saw other kids, you saw a soccer ball, or you saw your parents, you saw a report card, or things like that. We're just literally going to scan around as if you had a video camera. Like, what did you actually see? And you sense data through the visual field. And my question is, did you literally see with your eyes, I'm not good enough?
No.
You just saw things, objects, people.
Yep.
But the actual idea you didn't see. So if you didn't see it, then where was the belief?
It's just in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. You just saw the scenes, and then you created a thought in your own brain, I'm not good enough. You just hatched that in your own head.
Yeah.
And I was trying to help you. You're trying to maybe explain why this was so stressful, or you're trying to help yourself grow. Maybe it was the intention behind that was to grow and achieve and fulfill your potential and things like that. Maybe the intention was there, but maybe it served you at the time and it helped you navigate that experience. Is it serving you now, though, to believe it's the absolute truth about you? I'm not good enough.
No,
because it just creates this pressure and the sense that you can never just enjoy your successes and criticizing yourself in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
Now, again, we're not trying to say that I am good enough is always true. We're not trying to say the opposite.
Right.
We're just trying to invite the possibility that this is not an absolute truth so that you have freedom and discernment and that this belief is not automatically activated. And so, is there any part of you that's opposed to letting go of this belief?
I don't think so, no.
Great. So, just breathe into all that. And just, if you want, you can close your eyes, it's up to you, but just connecting back to that younger Chris. And just being there and noticing his experiences, his effort, his energy as he's navigating the soccer and school and the parents, and just return back to him as your highest self right now. It's full of unconditional love for him, and just thank him for all of his effort, and just let him know that you're there for him, and that no matter what, even if he misses the soccer goal, or if he makes an error, or anything, that you love him no matter what. And he doesn't need to prove himself to be loved and get a sense of worth. And just let him know that, when he's feeling stressed or he's feeling pressure in those situations, those are just feelings in the body that are temporary, just like clouds in the sky. They don't need to be there forever, and they don't need to mean anything. And just let him know that you don't want him to think I'm not good enough is the truth about life just because of soccer, or just because of those experiences. He gets to choose what meaning he gives those events, because the events themselves have no intrinsic meaning. And again, just let him know that you're there and you're always there for him. And then he can be free now, knowing that he has full discernment about this. In some situations, you might recognize, you know what, I probably could perform at a higher level and do certain activities to, grow the podcast or something. Mm-hmm. But maybe not. Maybe you just decide. Maybe some things it's true, maybe sometimes it's not. You decide in the present moment. Either way, you don't need to believe it as an absolute truth, just about you as a human being. And so we did some deep work there. So let's clear the palate and then we'll check in.
Sure.
So just say a random sentence for me. Just say, the way to be a kitten is to be a puppy.
The way to be a kitten is to be a puppy.
So you don't feel any emotional response to that, right?
Nope.
Okay. Say all cars have 7 wheels.
All cars have 7 wheels.
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
So say I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
How does that feel now?
Didn't feel really anything.
Nice. How's the chest?
Yeah, I don't have the tightness and stuff, like the feeling I had.
Yeah. You feel lighter?
Yeah, actually. Truthfully.
Yeah, you seem like something let go there. You look a little lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not just saying that for those listening.
Yeah.
I truly, I'm not doing this just for vanity. I actually did feel
this is unscripted.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So there's nothing else,
Cool.
no emotional charge to that. It sounds kind of empty like the other sentences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, we got it.
Nice.
That was awesome. Yeah, I'm confident that belief's cleared.
And I think it's so
And
interesting of like what you were saying there, like you have the choice. Like you can decide, this is it. Like this is like almost like this is where we are with the show. We'll just go to the podcast. Like this is where it is right now. Great. We're gonna just do our best each day. And if it grows kind of thing. Like the less pressure. And that's what I've been trying to do. But like what we did there is helpful. And it's interesting. I've done the like going back to younger self type thing. I've sat and like visualized my younger self coming and sitting in a chair at different ages and like saying and speaking to them to like work through some of that. So maybe that's helped me a little bit, but visualizing there again, I think it was a good release of still holding on to some of the stuff I hadn't let go before.
yeah. And so if I could speak to that, because I mean, it's beautiful to do the different inner child things.
Yeah.
And often it's a really nice experience, and it's therapeutic to just connect and witness and empathize with that child. And what I actually did was bring in the logical side. And so we connected to that child, and we had a logical conversation with him until he realized that I'm not good enough literally doesn't exist.
Right.
Just like Santa Claus doesn't exist. So this is how we know it's permanent, because you just take that metaphor of the Santa Claus experience that almost everyone has, where we believe Santa's real, and then wait, you had that moment when you're 8 or whatever, and you realize you never actually saw Santa Claus, and you just made it up. You agreed with the story, but there's no actual proof for it. And then from that moment on, you never believe Santa Claus is real again. And so we just did that with I'm Not Good Enough, because we actually connected to that child who believed it, and we had the rational dialogue. It's almost like bringing in the masculine energy to the healing. Like it's like there's so much amazing healing stuff out there that's about the emotional, but it's not also about the logical. It's like, hey, let's talk about this. How do you know it's true? Like I didn't make you believe anything new. I was just asking questions until you figured it out for yourself,
Yeah. And like we will have to put a warning at the beginning of this episode. If you're listening to with your kids, we talk about Santa. So just we don't want to ruin any childhood yet. But no, I think, coming from the perspective with the like talking to your younger self of like, I'm here for you. Like you did a great job. Like I, in my head, talking to myself as I visualized that myself as a younger kid was like, thank you for carrying us the way you did. Thank you for bringing us through everything to get us to this point, kind of thing. Like, and like, way to go, buddy. Like, that was awesome. Like, great job. Cause you could have chose a whole different path or acted a whole different way. And, stuff like that. It's just a different perspective than just like, I see you kind of thing. So,
yeah. And so we pulled that dandelion out. And this is what I just call, we're just doing subtraction work. So I think a lot of personal development is, let's try to do this mindset reframe or this habit change or even the emotional processing, trying to do things, trying to change your routines, trying to, go to the Tony Robbins and you get pumped up, and it's like, there's so much good stuff, but did we actually pull the dandelion out?
Right.
And so what I'm doing is sort of counterintuitive, because we're not adding anything in. My clients just show up, like they come in with the patterns around, self-doubt or money anxiety or overworking or whatever. And it's like, okay, what are the collection of dandelions, the collection of mental weeds that are causing that? And then we just run that process like 3 or 4 times a week. And we just see, we're just shedding that, and we're decluttering those t-shirts. I know I'm mixing like 4 metaphors, but it's kind of fun for me. We just like subtract.
Right.
And then it's actually permanent. And so that's how there's these huge shifts over the course of, typically I work with people for 12 weeks, and we see the anxiety go down from 10 to 0, because there's actually getting down and pulling things out at the root. And we're not trying to just, we're not trying to just spray air freshener on the dog crap. It's like, let's actually take the root cause and remove it.
Yeah. It's interesting because like that's something I've been doing, last year or so and when I get in these moments of some moments, not all of them, but like maybe it's someone cuts me off in traffic, so I start getting like upset. Like trying to take a step back, and I'm not perfect at this, but trying to take a step back of like, wait, why am I getting upset about this? Like, what is
Yeah.
causing me to feel this way or react this way or act this way in these situations? And the road thing was an example, but in anything, and trying to kind of dig into it a little bit myself. And um, it's been helpful. Like just even those little things of like, okay, I reacted this way, probably not the best reaction from my perspective, but why did I do that? Like it's not that person's fault necessarily.
Yeah, it's
Maybe they
big
did.
in
Maybe they were a jerk, but like, why did I react negatively? Why did I let it piss me off instead of just being like, all right, whatever, they're having a bad day kind of thing. So
yeah, dude, that's a really, I mean, it's a really mundane example, but it's really like powerful because it's so common.
right.
And so it's like, well, wait, is the irritation actually caused by that person?
Right.
Or is it my meaning that I'm giving it? And
Yeah.
but it's not
And
just your meaning. It's like, what is the subconscious meaning? If you have a
mhm,
belief like nobody cares about me, that's holding on because when you were 8 years old, your brother was being mean to you, and then you created this belief, nobody cares about me, and then you get cut off in traffic 30 years later, and then you get irritated. And it's like, well, that's because of that belief.
yeah. Well, it's crazy because like you say that. So like I think about that now and what we just did. And that's always one that gets me is like I just get frustrated. People driving slow. I've got places to go. Like I got to get stuff
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
And so now it's like, okay, I did that because like need to accomplish more because I think it's gonna, make me good enough when I already
yeah,
am. Like, and so like it's interesting
yeah, dude.
kind
The
of
beliefs
correlation.
are the first domino. It's like beliefs, thoughts,
Yeah.
emotions, actions, outcomes.
Yep.
And so I think when it comes to business success, people are kind of spinning between actions and outcomes all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're thinking about their emotions and their thoughts and trying to shift those. And but it's like usually it's like, no, I just need to change this action to get the outcome. But it's like if you believe deep down, I don't deserve money, I don't deserve success.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna be hit with the inner critics and the
Right.
fear or the anxiety on the sales call. And it's like you could be listening to all that Alex Hormozy you want about getting better at sales, but you
Right.
believe I don't deserve success. And so that's going to be causing so much of the stress. And
Mm.
so if you work at all ends of the spectrum, like obviously we need to be taking action, but like if you're subtracting the negative beliefs, it frees you up, and now you can be taking action without the friction.
Yeah. Yep. And then I think it's beautiful. I think there's nothing like men who are you can't be emotional, like you don't show your emotion, like don't do it, like we've just been brought up that way so long, a lot of
Yeah,
us, like, and it
yeah,
hurts us. Where if we're not talking about going out and crying over everything all the time. Like there's times and place where it's healthy to cry, yes, but like understanding yourself and like what makes you do the things you do and like what's holding you back, is so healthy and such a way
and
to
it's way
do
more
it.
masculine too. It's
Yeah,
way more
because
masculine. It's just counterintuitive because it's
yeah,
like if you are unthreatened, let's just say your wife is getting upset about things, and you're like so unfazed because you're so in touch with your own feminine and your own emotions, and you
yeah,
process so much that you aren't bothered. You can actually hold the space for her emotions with power,
yeah,
and you're so unfazed and you're so confident with both your feminine and your masculine sides that it's like the most strong thing you can do versus like try to if you're like trying to push those things away, then it's not as strong.
right. Yeah, having both of those, I think it's so impactful. And this has been a great conversation. I think people listening, could have walked through that what you were leading me through as well, because I think so many deal with that kind of thing, especially men.
Yeah.
And so hopefully everyone else kind of felt lighter if they did it with us. If not, they can go back and kind of sit when they have time to do that. But this has been good. I think it's something we really need to wake up and realize, like the limiting beliefs we put in our head are just that they're just in our head. Like
Yeah.
we got to rewrite the story and be what's true and tell ourselves what's true, um and everything else will kind of fall in line and start improving that way. So, um, Joel, thank you again for being all willing to walk us through that in real time with me, unscripted, of course, um, and just sharing your insights and your expertise on uprooting these limiting beliefs. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And again, that's a gift for your audience as well to
Yeah,
just open up.
for sure. Um, So as we wind down, we always do the Upgrade Man Journal at the end. And this is where a guest will leave a comment, a quote, a question for the next guest to come. So we have one in here for you to respond to the best way or however you feel led to from Paul Roseberry, who's the last guest on the show. So I want to get your take on this, what he left you. But first, where can people connect with you at, find out more about you and get your help if they need it?
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah.
First, my podcast is the Joel Bein Show, if you want to hear more about what I'm talking about. And then, yeah, if you're interested in connecting, I do work with entrepreneurs one-on-one with clearing any of these mental emotional patterns and actually getting the permanent results. So my website for my business is thehumanliberation.co, thehumanliberation.co, and you can learn more there and connect with me.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, make sure you do. If anything, just continue to learn and tune into the podcast and everything there. So, so here's what Paul left for you. It's a question, actually. So, what is a no that if you started saying would make your life better? So, what could you say no to that you haven't been that would make your life better?
Man, it's so funny because going back to that, like the decluttering metaphor. It's like I've decluttered my life so much where I've said no so many times, but where I think I'm still sometimes miss is I probably could say no more to pretty good things.
Okay. Explain on that a little bit.
Yeah, versus just saying only yes to the true heck yes, because it's just, if you say yes to something, then you said no to literally everything else.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously there's always that balance because sometimes you want to something is you want to feel it out and see if it goes somewhere.
Right. Sure.
But I think sometimes I think oftentimes I know my gut's like, yeah, I just don't feel it. And so, but then my mind comes in and it's like, well, maybe it could be something. And then it turns out, no, my gut was right.
Yeah. Any specific examples recently or something you're thinking about that's coming that you're gonna it's not a heck yes, so maybe I need to say no.
I mean, I literally went on a date for a couple weeks ago and it was pretty good. Like we both knew
so if you're listening,
we both knew by the end that it wasn't gonna keep going.
Okay.
But I knew that beforehand. Going into it, and my gut was like, yeah, I'm not just super excited about this, but I'm not like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Right.
I'm not it's not something that's toxic or anything. It's not something that's dreadful. But it was,
it'll be okay.
I think there's possibly, and there's something to be said again about that, seeing if something plays out. But it just ended up being exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, nice.
Which was pretty good. And then it wasn't something to continue. And so I'm like, and I think why it matters to me is I want to string together a life and just string together experiences and memories that are all so full of joy and excitement. And I've done that in so many ways. And I'm like, no, let's just go all in with that. If it's not a heck yes, it's a no. And then if my calendar's empty, that, I'll do something else that I enjoy doing by myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's awesome.
That's what comes to mind first, at least.
Nice. So if you're going to go on a date and it's not a heck yes, maybe save the money. Just kidding. All right. So, Joel, what would you like to leave for our next guest on the show? And it doesn't have to be a question. It can be a quote. Maybe you have a really lovely quote you live by, or just a comment in general.
Yeah. I love quotes, but I'm just going to go back to what I hinted at earlier, which is just the idea for people to contemplate for this audience is men need more empathy. And I just want to invite people to consider what comes up when you hear that statement. maybe it's, oh, empathy's soft. Or maybe it's, oh, I'm good. I don't need it. Or maybe it's, oh, if I can't think that because that's not politically correct to say, because women need more empathy more than men need more empathy. I don't know about men maybe, but right. But I think that I noticed that for me at least, that statement, there is a little bit of, and maybe that's my own projection, but there is a little bit of that. Well, wait, you're not supposed to say that because it's the women who have been oppressed historically, not the men. And like, and I think that if there's any apprehension about it, claiming that men need more empathy, that's the exact reason why men need more empathy.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of pendulum swinging in the past several decades, and men have kind of often, there's a lot of lonely men out there. There's a lot of men who are that, like, you're not supposed to say certain things in your mind. And I believe everyone needs more empathy. I believe women need more empathy, and men need more empathy, and children need more empathy.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to invite that phrase because you don't hear it so often.
Agreed.
And so that's kind of my comment or invitation for people to reflect on that statement.
That's great. And I'm excited to see what our next guest, whoever that is, has to say to that. I think it always works out and is at the right time for people. So I'm excited for that. And so thanks for making that statement on there. So again, Joel, it's been awesome. Been great.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing. And thanks again for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you haven't yet, make sure you follow the show. It just helps us keep doing this, get more episodes out there, and keep supporting men and helping us on our journeys, because we're all on a journey. There's no destination as an upgraded man. It's a continuous thing. We're in it together. So share this episode with somebody who you know should succeed, heal, grow as individuals, and that's anybody. So share it. We can help so many more people together by doing that. But until next time, continue to go out there, upgrade your life, and we'll talk to you again soon.